Okay, thank you very much. I'll do the welcome and introduction. On behalf of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar on internationalization opportunities for NRW advanced manufacturing stakeholders. For those of who don't know me, my name is Arne Voder-Wilbecker, and I am a policy advisor at the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Industry, Climate Change, Climate Action, and Energy of the state of NRW. And I work in the innovation department. And one of our bigger tasks right now is that we are preparing our new smart specialization strategy. In German, we call it Innovationsstrategie NRW, or the old term was Regionale Innovationsstrategie, or RIS, but we try to now introduce the new term. And that will set the agenda for NRW's innovation policy over the next 8 years. And it will come as no surprise to you that regional and international cooperation, knowledge transfer and networking are key pillars of this strategy. And likewise, of course, advanced manufacturing, including fields like AI, additive manufacturing, and intelligent production systems, will also play an important role, reflecting, of course, our region's industrial strength and technological footprint. And this is also the reason why we are very happy and keen to be an active member of the Vanguard Initiative, which brings together our European regions to strengthen innovation through cross-border collaboration between various actors like companies, research organizations, or regional authorities. Within the Vanguard Initiative, which we are going to be talking about later today, we participate in several so-called pilots, and one of those is the pilot called High Performance Production through 3D Printing, which will be presented and discussed later. And I thank you all for joining us today. Our objective is to encourage even more companies and actors to become engaged in European cooperation projects and to become part of the Vanguard pilot. And I hope that today's webinar will be a valuable first step towards achieving this goal. I know it's a little bit difficult to reach out to our actors, but as we record this today, we might target a few more people later on. Before handing over to our next speakers, I would like to express my thanks to Jean-François Omerville and Klaus Niederländer from the Vanguard Initiative, as well as Dirk Kalinowski and Lukas Siefert from NMWP cluster for organizing today's event. Thank you very much. And yeah, I think we have an inspiring webinar. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, please, Klaus.
Yeah, and well, I think we have a great show. Apart from Hendrik and René, I actually know all the others. So Hendrik and René, you will get all the attention here to 12 you into the world of interregional collaboration. And indeed, North Rhine-Westphalia is a member of our network. We have currently 25 regions from 11 countries in there, really focusing on putting interregional innovation collaboration into practice. So, and the whole idea here is really to see how we can bring clusters and eventually then also obviously the associate companies and technology institutes, universities into this Vanguard initiative and in the field of advanced manufacturing, for which Jean-François will give in a minute a little bit of an overview. And indeed, I see this as a pathway. It's mobilizing actors is not always simple, and especially when you have to do it in webinars and when there's some distance involved. But I think this is just a good starting point, which I want to build on, and Jean-François will also talk about later on actual physical meetings, not so far away from North Rhine-Westphalia, where we would then have an opportunity to actually meet up. The whole idea of Vanguard Initiative is really to support this interregional innovation collaboration, through our pilots or platforms where companies and clusters can meet and find out where there are opportunities for collaboration to each one bring in their strengths and strengthen the supply chain, value chain in their field. And also, well, we hope to have North Rhine-Westphalia in the future also in our financial tool, the Innovate, so that we can also ourselves, which we're doing already, support some of these initiatives. It's an important time at the moment, also on European scale, as we are moving towards a new 7-year budget and on how Europe is going to support the competitiveness of its strategic sectors, companies, and areas. And for that, we are, like Arne, you mentioned, reviewing the priorities coming from the different regions to establish indeed all the future common areas, complementarities in there, in particular on how we can build stronger value chains in that. And just using, and what we want to use, I had the discussions last couple of days with some of the cluster managers in Slovenia and Spain, we developed that European way of collaboration, but learning from our Chinese in terms of the Chinese speed, so be quicker in things, and maybe also use from the American side that the can-do attitude, but then bring in our Europeans' particular ingredient of making things work. So I look forward to getting you guys involved more in our advanced manufacturing activities and hand over to Jean-François to really give you a first glimpse on what we are doing and where are there areas for potential collaboration. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Klaus. So I'm Jean-François Romainville from IDEA Consult. I am the network manager of the Vanguard Initiative 3DP pilot for almost 10 years now. And I will be doing now a brief presentation about the Vanguard Initiative 3DP pilot. Please, René, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to interrupt me directly. You can raise your hand, for example, so that we make it a lively discussion and we make sure to address all questions you might have. So, in a nutshell, what we aim to offer to our members is really to be their internationalization channel in the field of 3D printing innovations. I will describe that more in depth in a minute, but right now we are moving beyond 3D printing, so we are really moving towards covering advanced manufacturing in general, while initially the pilot was exclusively focused on 3D printing technologies. Now there is an explicit integration of AI, robotics, advanced materials, for example, in the pilot already now. And in 2027, that, let's say, scope broadening will be even more explicit through a merger with the ESM pilot, probably. So the 3DP pilot and the efficient and sustainable manufacturing pilot from the Vanguard Initiative will merge together to scale up, to also avoid any silos in terms of technological communities, to also improve the connection between end users and tech suppliers and so on. So this is something on which we are already working on, and that will be made real, let's say, in 2027 onwards. So the 3DP pilot, what we have been doing over the last years and keep, let's say, improving, is that we really want to serve directly all members of the pilot. We really want to help them being connected to new users, new partners, new clients across borders, obviously. We want to help them in developing interregional innovation projects with a particular focus on post-prototyping activities. So we work on projects starting at TRL 5, typically, sometimes TRL 4, but no basic research, let's say, as a core focus of the pilot. Beyond discussing, designing project ideas, we want those projects to be implemented towards deploying actual solutions on the market, directly addressing the needs of the industry. In order to achieve that goal, we, of course, pay a lot of attention to funding, making sure we do connect the projects we are designing with the adequate funding solutions. Our last point is influencing action. Typically discussing with the European Commission, today with the European Parliament, for example, to really make sure there is an adequate support, including on funding, covering our typical activities, like I said, interregional, TRL5 and beyond, and for example, that policy influencing activity led to the generation of the I3 instruments through efforts made with other, of course, Vanguard Initiative pilots. You can see on that slide some outcomes of a survey we launched among our members to actually assess whether we were meeting, let's say, our ambitions. And indeed, you see, for example, that nearly all of our members are more informed, better informed about the funding opportunities through our own activities. Most of them, again, are more knowledgeable about the 3DP EU landscape. Maybe more importantly, 95% of them were able to be connected to new users or partners because of 3DP pilot activities, and around 70% of them were part of a publicly funded innovation project, which was to some extent enabled by the 3DP pilot activities. On the right-hand side, we see a list of actual solutions that were developed and deployed, some of them being now market ready, because again of 3DP pilot activities, enabling to design innovation projects and then to have those projects being funded through different funding mechanisms, funding sources. Of course, we have Innovate, Klaus mentioned it, which is an interregional funding mechanism. But beyond Vinovate, we are of course using I3, Horizon Europe Innovation Actions mainly, and other funding opportunities like relevant cascade funding schemes and so on. I will not dive into the details of our own objectives because I hope it is clear, but it's really about deploying innovative solutions and value chains in the field of 3D printing over the last years, but now very explicitly advanced manufacturing in general, and in particular this combination of 3DP with AI and or robotics. The target groups, when I was mentioning earlier members, I meant the 4 distinct target groups that are listed on the slides. So the first one is end users. We do want to serve companies, industrial companies, in terms of possibly uptaking additive manufacturing solutions, being connected to the right technology providers across borders and so on. Then, of course, the second key target group is the solution co-developers, so the tech providers, being companies, facility centers, technology centers, universities. We are also working, of course, with intermediaries, clusters, a very important role in our process and structure, and finally, policymakers as well. You see on that slide the participating regions in the Vanguard Initiative 3DP pilot in 2026, 21 regions. And one key point there to mention is that every stakeholder located in one of those 21 regions is welcome to join any of our activities, of course, when there is an alignment in scope, in interests, but all SMEs, universities from those regions are welcome to join any of our activities. They can, of course, pick the activities, select the activities that make sense for them, based on the expected outcomes, for example. And they are really welcome to join at any moment in time. So you can see also on that slide that we have no reach the critical mass of actors, both in terms of private companies, but also technology infrastructures, research centers, universities, clusters, and so on. So that's a key added value of the pilot, of course, is that we are able to activate regional ecosystems, 21 in total. For some of the regions on that slide, we have nearly 70 stakeholders on our mailing list directly, let's say, contacted when we are organizing activities. In some other regions, a bit less, but so we are able, especially in some of those regions, to activate this ecosystem and make those connections among the different regional ecosystems, which is, of course, necessary, not always, but in some cases when critical mass is needed, when complementary expertise must be activated, this cross-regional capacity, let's say, is welcome, of course. We are structuring our activities as follow. 3 main tools, one online tool, the Gateway, to facilitate bilateral connections among companies, research centers, and so on. There you have also a list of selected funding opportunities. You can do some matchmaking for those funding opportunities. The second key tool is the Business Innovators Meeting. Those are in-person meetings, always taking place in one of the participating regions. Next one, and I will detail a bit more later on, will be in Genk, Flanders, Belgium, which is indeed quite conveniently located from North Rhine-Westphalia. So hopefully their stakeholders could join. During those meetings, what we do target as impact is really first making sure that the regional ecosystem from the hosting region is adequately then connected to the rest of our, let's say, international network. They frame the agenda, so they select the key priorities on which they would like to see those connections happening with the rest of Europe. That's at, let's say, the ecosystem level. Now, for organizations, what we do offer is companies visits. You will have companies booths there as well to meet, in particular, in September, Belgian companies. We will have project building sessions. Some of them will be directly targeting funding opportunities, funding calls. Some others will really be built upon industrial challenges from leading industrial companies. Materialize will present a technical challenge they have and they want us to solve, let's say, activating our network. Same from ASCO Industries and possibly Safran as well, but this is to be confirmed. And eventually other industrial leading companies will join. In the past, we had, for example, Signify, the world leader in lighting, also putting forward technical challenges they had. And some then technology providers were proposing possible solution paths. So we really want our activities to be as much, let's say, anchored into and related to industrial challenges as possible. Third key tool is the structural area of cooperation, what we call demo cases. Those demo cases, basically, these are subgroup of stakeholders working on a given topic, designing an action plan, deciding on some key actions supported by us, that are, let's say, needed to really address one key emerging area. I will detail the 4 demo cases we have right now, and we have also Vinovate, which, let's say, complements those tools to offer an integrated innovation support to our members, to really help them through our activities to move from being connected to new users, partners, up to implementing a funded international project, hopefully leading to some market-ready solutions being developed. So that's it for the tools. Like I said, I will now briefly list the 4 current demo cases on which we are focusing right now. All of them is addressing a key industry question. First one is about ensuring rapid availability of spare parts, reduce downtime, and extend the lifetime of industrial assets. So it's the on-demand spare parts and repair manufacturing. We have currently 3 regions leading that demo case. Typo here on the slide, but we have Trento, Slovenia, and Dalarna as well, who recently joined the demo case. Just to illustrate, we had a webinar recently to relaunch new activities because we concluded some key action lines in the past, and now we are updating the action plan, and there will be additional activities soon. We are really now prioritizing the set of activities we want to implement in that demo case. Second one focuses more on components performances. So how can we design and manufacture lighter, more efficient, and higher performance industrial components? Really covering lightweight structures, hybrid parts, and large format components, in particular with Aragon and Emilia-Romagna currently co-leading that demo case. A third one is much more on the process itself, and in particular on scaling the AM process, industrial AM processes. So it's about autonomous and AI-driven AM factories, making sure additive manufacturing becomes a scalable and productive industrial manufacturing process, with Lombardy, Wallonia, and Flanders in the lead there. And finally, a fourth demo case on smart and functional products with AM, where it's all about enabling new smart or multifunctional products, including, for example, integrated electronics, sensors, or other functionalities. Recently, we also relaunched that demo case because it was a successful one in the previous years with, for example, a Profactor also in the lead, but then Upper Austria is no longer in the Vanguard Initiative. So now we will have Nitec, probably from Navarra, possibly also South NL with Tieno Holst in the lead of that demo case. An important point at this stage for stakeholders from your region is that you can join at any moment in time those 4 demo cases. If you also have a strong alignment between the scope of those demo cases and your own ambitions, interests, you could even think of co-leading one of them. If that's a possibility for you, an interest, let me know, and we will have then a discussion with the co-leaders of the demo case. In addition to that, if your own ambitions at international level or challenges you want to see being addressed in a partnership like the 3DP pilot, they are not covered by this list of 4 demo cases, we could also think about proposing a new demo case. And typically what we do is we organize a webinar with you. We, for example, present your capabilities in the targeted field. We present possible international actions that could be relevant in that field, and then we test the interregional interest for that new idea. And if it turns out we have many other regions, or at least a sufficient number of stakeholders, regions willing to work on it, that could become a 5th demo case. Just to illustrate what we aim to achieve here, we have those demo cases. In all of them, we want to design and implement specific projects funded by targeted funding opportunities. I will not dive into the details, but you see here on that slide many solutions, new products, new processes, developed TRL 5 to TRL 9 sometimes. That's where, let's say, contributing to a portfolio of projects, all of them being linked to one demo case. This is one of the examples from that slide. Just to illustrate a bit the journey we want to offer to the members. It's really about metal printing processes, lowering the cost, improving the efficiency of it. And it all started with an SME from South NL making a presentation during one of our meetings to pitch a new project idea, possibly a new demo case. They connected to relevant partners, and quite soon in the process, they were supported through a short action we had at the Vanguard Initiative in the past, offering some limited amounts from regional funding agencies to help them develop their solution from TRL 5 to TRL 6. They also were selected in Vinnovate 2024, and they were integrated in the I3 3DOP project that we recently concluded. And in a bit less than 2 years' time, they were able to move from TRL 5 to now a solution being market ready. And that journey was really made possible directly through 3DP pilot activities and this cooperation between various regions that are listed on that slide. Departing from that application ID, which was about metal catalytic structure, we were able to also improve the cost price of metal additive manufacturing processes, reducing it by 70%, and we were able to develop 3 new metal AM systems in the 3DOP project that I mentioned, a 10 million project we recently concluded, with no positive market outcomes for, among others, this SME from South NL, but others as well. I will soon be concluding, but to make things a bit more practical, you will see here the upcoming activities we are organizing. So please join them if you have any interest. Again, you do not have to join and participate in all activities. You can select really what is relevant for you. First set of webinars, we have one today, so it's a bit too late to join. But we have some webinars where you will see that we focus on each webinar on one specific Horizon Europe Cluster 4 call. So basically, during this webinar, we gather a group of stakeholders, universities, companies, research centers that are interested into that call, the call that we have selected here. And we discuss possible concepts, possible angles, let's say, for the call, and we facilitate matchmaking so that those actors, they can more easily, let's say, find relevant consortia and submit hopefully successful proposals. That's really on funding. Then, like I said, on the 15th of September 2026 in Genk, we have our Advanced Manufacturing Business Innovators meeting. This is co-organized and hosted by CIRIS. This is supported as well by the Efficient and Sustainable Manufacturing Pilot from Vanguard. It's taking place right before the European Manufacturing Conference, taking place in Brussels, so that it's easy to combine participation in those 2 events. The event will really mirroring our, let's say, movement towards including advanced manufacturing solutions and technologies beyond 3D printing, like robotics, AI, and so on. The scope will really be on advanced manufacturing innovations, enabling industrial agility and sovereignty. Like I said, we have presentations already confirmed by ASCO Industries, Materialize, and we hope much more. CIRIS will also present very specific concepts for targeted funding calls to really facilitate consortia building. There will be Belgian companies, booth, and so on. We hope to have at least 75 organizations, mainly companies, but also many technology centers and so on. Registration process will open officially today, but the link is already valid here on that slide. Maybe I will conclude with this. Very concretely, what can be done for the stakeholders to embrace the Vanguard Initiative 3DP pilot further? I would first suggest to indeed join the mailing list. I will directly include you if you are not yet on the mailing list. I will include you on our own 3DP pilot mailing list, so that you are informed about our upcoming activities and you can participate in them. We will launch soon, probably a call for investment projects to build a new I3 proposal. We concluded the 3DOP project. We will submit another proposal, hoping again to get a successful I3 support. Last time, 14 million project cost, 10 million grant, which really enabled us to deploy many relevant solutions from the pilot. Like I said, you can then join one of the 4 demo cases and their activities if you're interested in them. If you want to lead or co-lead one of them, do not hesitate to let me know. And then if you have ambitions that do not fit well into those, let's say, descriptions, the scope of those demo cases, we can discuss and possibly propose to the pilot a new demo case. I have included in annex some funding opportunities. I will circulate the slides, of course, so that you can have a look if you are interested into them. Those are in particular the funding opportunities that will be discussed during those project building webinars we will have. So you can have a look. This is about I3. And now I will give the floor to the colleagues presenting those 2 Interreg projects. But first, I will look in the chat if there is any comment, but I do not see any comments. But maybe René, if you have any comments or requests for clarifications, please do not hesitate.
Yes. So now everything is fine. There was a lot of information, and we can go on.
Okay. Thanks a lot. And of course, then if I know it's quite a lot of info, but if you then have questions that pop up later on, let me know. So
Yeah, I will ask.
Okay, thanks. I will now give the floor then to the colleagues for this presentation on the 2 Interreg projects.
Perhaps I can start, Jean-François, if you allow me. First, thank you very much for the invitation and the chance to present M&M, the project Manufacturing NextMaterials. You presented the possibilities with the funding in Horizon Europe, in E3, with different regions, so on. And with Manufacturing NextMaterials, we can support especially SMEs. They say, okay, this European step or to go into a European project is too big for us. So let us start with a smaller intermediate step, only with the direct neighbors in the Netherlands. That's a possibility. Then we can support them by these Manufacturing NextMaterials project. And if you allow, and you give me 5 to 10 minutes, I want to give a short introduction of M&M. So what is M&M, or Manufacturing NextMaterials, I only say. Manufacturing NextMaterials supports SME in the German-Dutch border region in scaling up from the prototype stage to the test production. So from TRL 6 to TL 8 for innovative materials or to products with innovative materials. And for that, we focus our work in 3 different pillars. That's the first one. It's the design and the setup of the pilot production facilities and test procedures. The second pillar is in direct support of SMEs in transnational consortia. And the third one is the sharing of knowledge, for example, regarding legal or industrial compliances requiring you need when you work together with your neighbors in the market. When I say we, who is we? We is the consortium of M&M consisting of 3 network partners or economic development agency of the East Netherlands, that's OostNL and the Brabantse Ontwikkeling Maatschappij in the Netherlands, and our technological partners or scientific partners, which you can see here on the slides, that's 6 ones. That's the Thermoplastic Composites Application Center and the Fraunhofer Innovation Platform in Twente, the Rapid Technology Center in Duisburg-Essen, part of the University of Münster, the Fraunhofer Institutional Research Center for Battery Cell Production in Münster, and Kato Composites as a company. And said we are talking about materials. We try to cover the whole variety of materials, from metallics to plastics to composite materials for different applications, for photonic applications, for energy applications, for example, for batteries, not only for the batteries, but also for the housing of batteries. That's another point of that, or for textiles, smart materials, or whatever you can think that we try to address, and you can come to us and ask whether it is possible to participate within that one. What we do within NextMaterials, or what we offer, that's, we always say that's tailor-made support, especially for the SMEs, for the further development of prototypes from innovative materials and the scaling of the associated product processes. So that's not only the material, it's also the processes. And we do this by workshops and trainings, by scale-up projects, that means direct support for the SMEs, by matchmaking and by interviews after that, to try to become better and to foster what we're doing. Let me start with the workshops and trainings. For that, we've got 3, we call it lighthouses. That's our innovation hubs at different institutes or companies within the border regions, where we try to foster the production technology for composite materials, for battery systems, or for 3D printing in general. So that means at Kato Composites in Reden, close to the border between North Rhine-Westphalia and the Netherlands. There we build up a test production for composite production solutions. At the Fraunhofer Innovation Platform in Twente, we build up a battery materials production or test production for new materials. And at the Rapid Technology Center at the University of Duisburg, there we've got a pilot line for the scale up of 3D printing. Coming from these innovation hubs, that can benefit all companies, especially all SMEs, where they can come or go to these innovation hubs and say, I need help. Can you support us in finding a possibility to process our material or to build up a new component or system? For SMEs especially, we can give direct financial support within scale-up projects. That's the second pillar that we have. But I have to say this is limited to the direct border region in North Rhine-Westphalia, so that covers not whole North Rhine-Westphalia. That covers only, here you can see it, I hope, in the northwestern part of North Rhine-Westphalia up to the coast, to the German coast and to the Dutch coast. And what you see here, that is not for large projects. It's really for a first step, for a first collaboration where you can build up trust to your international partners within these projects, where we can support you with a funding of 15 to 70,000 euros per project with a funding rate of 50%. And I have to say the second limit is that we can pay only personal costs or give funding to personal costs. And we can give to this an additional overhead of 40%. But with the focus of the small amount of money, it's a good thing for a first step, for a first product to test your collaboration and to test your product. On the other hand, the benefit is that we are very fast. You mentioned the Chinese way to innovation. That's an idea which we try to take here at the same time, because we need round about 4 months between the deadline when you write the proposal to the start of your project. So that means the next deadline will be in September, and who participates with the next call, then you can start in January 2027 with their project. Or the last one will be in November 26, and you can start at the moment at the 1st of March within your project. So that means it's not so much money, but it's fast. And the other one, it's very easy. You don't have to calculate your personal costs, because we've got a flat rate for your cost. So it doesn't matter how much do you pay to your employees. You've got to find a flat rate for that costs, and you can say, okay, that's very easy. You only have to ensure that you know the number of hours and that your employees work within this project, and that's enough. More details we don't want to know about it, only whether it works or not within your projects. And at the end, I brought only 3 examples of running projects or of projects that have already ended in respect to 3D printing, to your Vanguard demo case. That's 3 different projects we support. Oh, sorry for that. We could support. It's the additive manufacturing of sounding rocket antennas. So we don't produce the whole rocket, but we produce different components by additive manufacturing. At the beginning, or before the partners came to us, they've done it nearly it was really a handmade production of these components. And now at the end of the project, that's an serial additive manufacturing, so the first serial production of the components. Second one is the design of a unique 3D metal printed catalytic radiators for air purification. That means they optimized their purification system, what they had, by simulation, by finding a partner who's doing these simulations, and with that, and together with the 3D printing of the components, they iterate their solutions. And now I think they've got a very good, a very lightweight and a small air purifier, which you can use in different applications like cars, perhaps at the next ISS or wherever. So that should be possible to use it. And the third one is an intelligent bike manufacturing, where they produce components by 3D printing at different locations and with an their materials they use in there. So it's only 3 examples I mentioned regarding the 3D printing, but these projects could be, from my point of view, a first step to come into these larger demo cases of the Vanguard Initiative. So thank you very much for this 5 minutes. Hartliche Dank to all of you. And at the end, I only have to say thanks to our financiers within different regions here. And if you want to get more information for that, you can visit our website, you contact us directly, or our whole network in the project. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Dirk. And we can now move to the next presentation, focusing on an Interreg project. That one will be made by Lucas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, thank you very much. I see we've got about 10 minutes left, so I'm trying to be quick to get through my slides. So the second project we want to present today is STIPP, which is short for SME Transition Innovation Partners Project, which is an Interreg Meuse-Rhine project. So the area is directly south to the Deutschland-Nederland projects. Yeah, here we want to support and finance some cross-border innovations for SMEs. Again, to build up collaborative and sustainable partnerships in the Meuse-Rhine region. So it's yeah, Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium, as I will show you later. And we have a total available budget of 10 million euros from the European Regional Development Fund. So what kind of projects are eligible? Of course, innovation is our goal. So it can be a product, it can be a service, or it can be a process that is developed in a STIPP project. We focus on innovative and market-oriented projects, and very important is the economic impact in the Meuse-Rhine region. We are aiming to start with a technology readiness level of about 4 to 6. And the aim is to have to raise the level to at least 6 towards the end of your project. You have to address one of the major societal challenges that are shown on the right side. So the 3 areas are industrial transition, green transformation, and healthier citizens. So it's quite a broad focus, I would say, of topics that you can bring into one of these projects. And then another point is that projects on security and the Einstein telescope, which is supposed to be constructed within this region, they are actually yeah, focused on as well. So who can benefit? As I said, it's of course about small and medium enterprises in the Meuse-Rhine program area. So that means, of course, less than 250 employees and less than 50 million turnover per year. And actually, what I have to add is if there is an existing consortium in this region, you can join even if you're outside of the region. I will talk about that on the next slides. Yes. So this is actually the Meuse-Rhine region I'm talking about. So you can see it's parts of North Rhine-Westphalia and of Rheinland-Pfalz in Germany. Then we have parts of the provinces of Liège and of Limburg in Belgium, and also the Netherlands province of Limburg, right? And you can see here that there are 3 points on the German side, so Trier, Düsseldorf, and Duisburg, which are also eligible for funding in the region. But as I said, if you join an existing consortia in this region, you can actually be outside of that. So in practice, pretty much all of North Rhine-Westphalia should be eligible here. So we have an upcoming call, which will open on the 1st of August and closes on the end of October. We have an available budget of 3 million here. And yeah, you have to be at least 2 partners from 2 different natural regions and from 2 countries at least. So only North Rhine-Westphalia and Rheinland-Pfalz won't work. You have to be, you have to have a partner from the Netherlands or from Belgium as well. Yeah, and then also I can tell you there's a 5th call coming up afterwards, and it is possible to do 2 projects which are based on each other. So you can, if you have a bigger project in your mind, you can split them up in 2 calls actually. Okay, then of course we have a 50% funding rate here, and depending on the composition of your consortium, the maximum grant can vary. So if you are from 2 regions, you can get up to 150,000 euros, and if you come from all 5 regions, you can actually get up to 600,000 euros. Again, the regions are shown on the right side, which I already showed you. So again, this is just as in an M&M. Personal cost is funded with a 40% overhead. We are also pretty quick, so we say it's about 13 weeks. So projects in the 4th call can start at February 1st at the latest. Yeah, we have a simple online reporting twice a year, and we can also have pre-financing for setting up your projects. So practical guidance, what can you expect in STIPP? If you have an idea for a project, just show your sketch to us, and then we will help you finding partners across the border. If you haven't already find some partners with the help of Vanguard, we then help you with the project application, and you can submit the document online. Then there's the eligibility check and evaluation by an independent committee and a steering board. And then, as I said, within 13 weeks, you can start your projects. So what is important for a successful proposal? First, the degree of innovativeness. So that's the main goal, as I said. You have to address at least one of the 3 societal challenges that I showed you. The more regions across the borders you involve, the better. There has to be a potential for an economic impact. Yeah, and then of course the quality of the application. So if you want to get in contact, if you want to start a project, please feel free to write us an email. My colleague Matthias Grosch, and also the other colleagues from the other agencies. So the AGID is part of it, and then also the agencies in the Netherlands and in Belgium. So I think, yeah, I was quick. That's good. And I want to thank you and our partners and financiers. And yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. So on my side, I will thank all the speakers, and we will continue, of course, informing all stakeholders about the upcoming activities. So thanks a lot, and hope to see you very soon.
Thank you also
All right.
from my
Thanks
side.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot for
Bye-bye.
that one, huh? See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.